Hello, hello, hello. I'm Dr. Priscilla. I am the CEO and founder of Speak Excellent English. Today, I had invited each of you to the webinar. And during this webinar, we're going to talk about idiomatic expressions. If you received an email from me, then you have an idea about what the webinar is about. The webinar distinctively said that we were going to review at least 4 idiomatic expressions. So let's talk about what an idiomatic expression is and how you might consider using an idiomatic expression. If you have questions that you want me to respond to, please type them below, and I will definitely try to respond to any questions or comments that you may have. This is a recorded webinar. If you'd like to have a copy of the webinar, just let me know and I will make that available to you as well. Now, what is an idiomatic expression? An idiomatic expression is a concise way of saying something that's very clear to the point. The words themselves in the idiomatic expression may not necessarily mean what the words individually would mean if you saw them in a different setting. Let's take one idiomatic expression, rope of business, or the ropes of business. Ropes of business. If, let's just say, for example, you are an employee. As an employee on day one of whatever this job is that you're doing, it is quite possible you do not know enough to do the job in a very good way without someone guiding you. In that regard, ropes of business is to suggest that someone is going to show you where you sit. They will give you the schedule of events, things that will take place during your day of work. Who do you ask for help? And where do you go when you need something very specific? That's a part of learning the ropes of business. So now, let's take the individual words as an example. I'm looking around to see if I have something that would resemble a rope. And found this. This is my power cord for my phone. Let's just assume that this is a rope. The idiomatic expression that we're working with right now is ropes of the business. This is the rope. This is the beginning. There's a beginning to this rope, and it is here. If we hold on to this rope, ropes of business, we're working our way to the end. We're learning different things as we move along this rope. We're learning how to access the computers. We know what confidential information is. We know who's in charge of what department. And after several months on the job, we have come to the end of our training. Now we should be able to act in a very appropriate manner. This is the ropes of business. This is what I've used as an analogy. I use my cord as a rope going from one end to the other to learn what I need to know to be very good at what I do. And the goal of this cord is to plug it into the wall, provide power or electricity to my phone, charge my phone so that my phone will work in a very perfect way. So that is the idiomatic expression, ropes of the business. Let's look at another idiomatic expression, which is smooth sailing. We know that smooth sailing, the word itself means smooth, something that is even, level, smooth. The surface of my mouse is smooth. It's not rough. Sailing. When we think of the word sailing, you might think of the water, the ocean, or something wet. A boat in water that's moving along, that's sailing. So what does the idiomatic expression smooth sailing actually mean? Smooth sailing means that things are very easy, not difficult. If you were on a ship or a boat in the water and the waves were bouncing, that would not be smooth. But if the water is calm and your boat is going along on the water, that's smooth sailing. Something that is not difficult is considered smooth sailing. Okay? If you have questions about smooth sailing, please post that in the chat box and I will respond to those comments as well. Let me check to see if there is any chat. No, not yet. Okay, great. So now we have two idiomatic expressions. We have ropes of the business, and we have smooth sailing. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 will be manna from heaven. As a Christian, heaven means to me that there is someone greater than myself. There is a God that can help me in times of fear, times of stress. I call on God to help me through difficult times. When we talk about manna from heaven, it is the way that God answers our prayer. God is going to bless me in ways I could never even imagine. God will bless me in ways that I can't even think to ask. He is my provider. He is my protector. He is my all. So if I need something, all I need to do is look to heaven and ask. And the blessings of manna will come down upon me to feed and nourish my soul. Now that's still saying a lot. And if you do not have the Christian faith, maybe I should say it this way. Manna then can be perceived as a gift. Let's think of it as a gift. So if you have done things that you need to do, prayer, be sincere with your prayer, then gifts from heaven will abound, which means many gifts will come from heaven. They will just literally fall from the sky and you will be blessed. You could be blessed with a good job, a good spouse. You could be blessed with children. That is your manna. Whatever is coming from above as a blessing, that is considered your manna or your gift. We'll talk more about what isn't manna and how you can get manna, or you can look for it, but it may not show up. So if you have questions about manna from heaven, please post that in the chat and we can discuss that as well. What I like about webinars is this. Webinars are not designed to be one way, which would be a monologue. Mono means one. Log is kind of like a conversation. So in order to have a dialogue, which is 2 or more, I need to have you comment in the chat so that I can respond in kind to what your questions or concerns are. All right. Now the fourth idiomatic expression is rags to riches. Rags to riches. A rag is something that has very little value, and after you've used this rag, typically we find that we will just toss it away. We'll throw rags away into what is considered a trash can. Here we have trash. We throw rags in the trash can because rags have very little value to us. Riches means that you're flourishing, you have lots of things that are of value. Some of those things may be materialistic. It may be that you are able to invest in yourself. You may be able to invest monetarily and save and compound upon things. And the more you can save, the more you will have. And that takes you from having very little. By saving, you have the riches because you have compounded what you started out with. Oftentimes, you will read a story about someone who's entered into the United States. Let's just say that they came to the United States with just very little, maybe 2 pennies or 2 rupees, something very small in their pocket. Or they came to the U.S. With just their jacket on their back. They had nothing. Once they arrived here in the United States, they worked hard and they made a good life for themselves. They started a family. They loved their family, and they taught their family the value of working together. So coming to America with very little, now they have reached the pinnacle of being someone with high stature, and that is their rags to riches story. They started here with nothing, and slowly, they moved up to a level of having more than enough, which would be their success story of rags to riches. All right, so those were the 4 idioms that we were going to discuss today, and I hope that you have a very good understanding of rags to riches. The first one was ropes of business. The second one, smooth sailing. The third one, manna from heaven. And finally, the 4th one, rags to riches. Are there any questions about those 4 idioms? If you are watching the replay and you have questions, please comment in the section below, and I'll try and respond to you as well. So here is the story that I'm going to create for you today using the 4 idiomatic expressions. Please listen carefully and follow along if you can. I may not use the 4 idiomatic expressions in the way that I taught them to you, but they will be there in the story. So I will begin. It was about 25 years ago that I really wanted to pursue a degree in education. I really wanted to be an excellent teacher in the public school system in the United States, but I wasn't able to attend college in the typical way. I didn't stay in a dorm, which is the typical way for most students to go to college in the U.S. Once they graduate high school, they go on to college. Once they get to college, they actually stay in a dormitory. I never did that. I never stayed in a dormitory because my parents could not afford it. For me, that is my rags to riches story. I had to work hard to get to the level that I am today. What you may not know is this, though. There was not a sense of manna from heaven. I had to work for everything that I received. Manna from heaven comes in the form of hard work and deliberate and focused attention. That is how you receive manna. So if you enter into an adventure and do not put forth any effort, there's little chance that you are going to receive manna from heaven. Manna being the gifts and the blessings of God. So if you do not put in any work, it is not going to happen. When I got my first teaching job, I was really, really happy and excited about what I would be able to do for the students. But first, I had to learn the ropes of the business. When you graduate from university and you get that job, as I did, teaching, there are many meetings, many training sessions that you must attend, even though you have gone to college for the purpose of teaching. The organizations that are affiliated with public education require all teachers to go through training sessions to learn the ropes of the business. And that was what I had to do to become the quality of teacher that I am today. Now that I am a teacher equipped to teach public schools, I've gotten past all the hurdles, and it was smooth sailing. After maybe 4 or 5 years of teaching public school, it was really easy for me. So that would be what I would consider smooth sailing. I wanted something more challenging than just public education. I went back to school and I got my doctorate in education so that I would be able to teach at the level that I'm teaching now to English language learners globally. I'm excited about the opportunity to be able to sit in front of you and teach you from the United States of America to wherever you're receiving this message today. I hope that you have enjoyed the session for today. It was the use of 4 idiomatic expressions: manna from heaven, ropes of business, smooth sailing, and rags to riches. So if there are questions that I can answer for you, please leave them in the dialog box. If you're watching the replay, please leave feedback and I would be happy to respond to you as well. So I'll check again for the chat box to see if there's any messages there. All right, since there are no messages there for me in the chat box, I'm going to say it was indeed a pleasure to sit and chat with you today. I am Dr. Priscilla. I am the CEO and founder of Speak Excellent English. Until next time, enjoy the day. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. And as a member of the YouTube channel, if you click the bell, you will be made aware of the times that I'm going live, and you can join me there as well. So those of you who are in the webinar today, thank you so much for joining. I'm Dr. Priscilla. Bye for now.